Hi, everyone. We are here again with another episode of Ms.Phippard Teaches You Something on Fusion. So today we are going to be playing around in a new workspace, and that workspace is the Sculpt workspace or the Forms workspace. We're going to be making little creatures. To get there, to get started, we are going to get to the Forms workspace where we can sculpt our critters. Most of the workspaces you can get to by clicking over here on design, and you'll see all the different workspaces. The Sculpt Forms workspace is a little bit weird in that you have to get there a different way. To get to the Forms workspace, you click on this weird purple cube, and it brings you here to Forms, okay? And you'll see our whole top menu changed. We now have all these different options. And the Forms area builds shapes quite a bit differently than you build them in the area we've been working in before. Instead of sketching out your shape and then extruding it, you'll be putting down a shape and then pulling and pushing to form it almost like it's a lump of clay or a piece of Play-Doh or a sheet of fabric that you're lifting and such, okay? So in the Create menu here, you can see you've got some different options. Today, we're starting just with a plane, and you can click on that. We're going to put our plane on the floor, so to speak, so on the red-green plane, the XY plane. I'm going to put it right at the origin. And then for size, I'm going to choose 50, tab 50, tab. And right now it should bring up a nice box over here that lets me choose how many faces I want for my length and my width. I'm going to choose 5 for each. If it doesn't give you this menu for some reason, if it just ended your plane and you've got a plane on there with not the right number of faces, you can go ahead and delete that and try again. Okay. Once you've got 50, and then 5 and 50 and 5, you can click OK. And you'll see we've got this flat shape here. Okay. So in sculpting, you have different areas that you'll be able to edit. You have faces, which are any flat sections like these. These are all faces. You have edges. So you can see I can click an edge. I can double click to click a whole edge. Okay. And you've got vertices or points. Okay. So you have the edges or the lines. You have the faces, which are the flat parts. And you have the vertices, the points. And any one of those can be pulled on or moved, to change your shape. So we're going to start by editing this form. We're going to click on the 9 faces, and I'm going to hold Control as I click so that I can select lots of them. I didn't mean to click that line, so I'm going to unclick it. Okay. And then I'm going to right click and I'm going to choose Edit Form. And that brings up this menu. And we're going to spend a lot of time in Edit Form. And it has all these little handles that let you do different things. This is your first time in Forms. I suggest you just kind of play around a little bit and then maybe undo. But what we're going to do is we're going to use this up arrow. And we're going to pull up. And in the box here, I'm going to type 30 because I want to pull up exactly 30. Okay. Then I'm going to click off of those 6 shapes and I'm going to click on just the middle. Okay. And I'm going to pull that up. I'm still clicked on the up arrow, so I'm going to just type in another 30. Let's get at a better view. There we go. Okay. And so now you see we've pulled up our shape so that we've got this nice shape here. I want to widen out the top. This is our body, so I want the top to be wider. So I'm going to click on this one that looks like a dot with 3 triangles. This is our scaling tool. This lets us widen. And I'm going to widen that quite a bit to make it kind of a bulb shape there. Okay. If I went the other way on that scaling tool, it would shrink that face. Okay. Now I'm going to click on my arrow again, and I'm going to pull that up another 10 or so. And now, still clicked on my arrow, I'm going to do that one more time, but I'm going to do a little trick. I'm going to hold down the Alt key on my keyboard. The Alt key lets me extrude while I pull up. So if I pull up right now, see how it adds a section. You can see there's now this line here. I've actually added a whole new section. And 12's fine. Maybe I want that to be 10 actually. So I pulled my whole thing up here and I added a new section at the top. Okay, I'm going to click OK, so I'm out of my form. Okay, so this is my body that I'm starting with. And all of our creatures can start with kind of the same body. One more thing I'm going to do to the body, I'm going to round the bottom. I'm going to click on a vertex at the bottom, one of the corners. I'm going to click delete or backspace. Do the same thing. Delete or backspace, either one works. And there's one more. There it is. Delete. Okay, so there is my body. This can now become any creature that you want to make it. So you have a decision to make right now, which is what creature are you making? My daughter earlier today asked me to make a squid. So this is going to be a squid. First, we're going to talk about how to add some limbs or arms. A lot of creatures have symmetry, meaning that they are the same on 2 sides or on multiple sides all the way around. If your creature has symmetry, you can add that in right now, so you only have to make changes to one side. If you want your creature to be different on its sides, you don't have to do this step. Okay, so if you want symmetry, go up here to the symmetry menu up at the top, symmetry, and you've got a couple choices. You've got mirror internal, which will mean it has 2 sides that are the same, or circular internal, which means it has lots of sides that are the same. Okay. For my squid, even though squids would have probably mirror internal, I'm going to do, or circular internal, I'm going to do mirror, because most things that you guys are making will have mirror. For mirror internal, you select a face on one side, and then you turn to the opposite side and select the exact same face. And that's telling Fusion, hey, these 2 faces are exactly the same. And then you click OK. Now, any change I make to this half of the body will do exactly the same thing to this half of the body. It will be mirrored, okay? So we've got that symmetry in place. We can take that symmetry away at any time if later we want things to be different on the 2 sides. All right, first thing we're going to do is make a place for our limbs or appendages. Okay. So I'm going to turn to a side. So the green lines are my symmetry lines. This is one side right here. This panel is like way too big for me to pull an arm from here. So I'm going to make a smaller segment. I'm going to do that by right-clicking, and I'm going to choose, I could choose subdivide. Actually, I don't see the tool I want. So So I'm going to go Modify up here in the menu and choose Insert Edge. I'm going to click on the edge I like, and then I'm going to move, and you see this green edge that's moving? That's where my new edge is going to be. So for most people, if you're doing arms for a creature, you'll want an edge like here. And I click OK. And you'll notice if I go back here, oops, sorry, if I go to the front, notice that it gave me the same edge on this side and on this side because of that symmetry. Okay, now I'm making a squid, so I'm not sure that's where I want my edge actually. I'm going to add another one. I'm going to add one down here. Okay, now from wherever you want your arm to come out of your body, your arm or your leg, you're going to click on that spot. So if I want my arm here, I'll click there. If I want my arm here, I'll click here. Here, I'll click here. Wherever you want your arm or leg to come out of your body. Right click, okay, edit form. I have all my tools again. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down Alt, because Alt is going to let me add new material. And then I'm going to pull out. And there is the start of your leg or arm. So my squid has the start of two little weird legs or arms coming out the sides of his body. Okay. You can then pull it out more if you want without holding Alt. You could hold Alt again and pull out another section. Okay. If you want, you could raise those sections up or lower them down. Okay, so you're thinking about the shape of your creature. If you want, you could use the scaling tool to make them smaller or wider. Okay, so I'm going to make mine a little smaller, and then I'm going to do Alt, and I'm going to pull out another section. I'm going to move those back a little because mine's a squid, so his need to be kind of wavy. Okay. So you have the ability to use those different tools and play with them to do whatever you need to do to make the arms or legs look right for your creature. Okay. Once you're happy with the arms or legs, you can click OK and leave that section alone. Now, one thing to do every once in a while is go up to Utilities and click this Display Mode and click it over to Box Display and look at it in Box Display and make sure you don't have any weird spots where boxes or lines are crossing each other. Looks like I'm good right now. The reason you don't want those is that it'll mess you up later. Sometimes it helps to even just build things in Box Display. All right, I am going to add another arm here. Now you might want to put legs somewhere or put, a tail or put other things. Just kind of figure out what your creature needs. So I'm going to hit Edit Form. Whenever I want to add material, I use Alt. So in this case, I'm going to click Alt on my keyboard. I'm going to make sure I'm clicking something that will face the right direction here. So I'm holding Alt. I'm going to pull out a little. Okay, and then this section I'm also going to move over a little. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to hold Alt, pull out a little, and I'm going to move that over a little. And that one I'm going to pull out and over a little again. And then I'm going to shrink it a little, And I'm just gonna keep kind of messing with things. Alt and out a little more. Now look, my squid has 4 legs. Okay. And you don't even have to end your edit form. You can, grab another panel. Actually, I think that one's too big. No, that one's good. I'm gonna say that one. I'm gonna make sure I'm on the arrow. That's sometimes the hardest part. That arrow. I'm gonna hit Alt, pull out, and then shrink, and then get that arrow again, and Alt and out, and then maybe bend it. Whoa. Why is that? Oh, so that's messing stuff up because of my symmetry. Anyway, that sort of works. I'm upside down. Okay, so you just keep messing with things until you like what you have. My squid needs more arms. The really important point, again, is that if you want to add new material, you use Alt. If you have a section that you want to divide, we've got the way we used before, which was the insert edge. There's one other tool you could use, which is called subdivide. So you go modify subdivide. If I click on like this section here, see, I can split it now into 4. Click OK, see, and you can get smaller sections. That's useful if maybe you want to make toes on the end of a leg or something like that. I'm going to add 2 more tentacles. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, this poor guy. There we go. I'll add him here. This one, hold down Alt, pull out. Hold down Alt, pull out. Maybe do that one over, shrink it down a little. And then this one here, is that the up arrow or the out arrow? Huh. Out arrow. Hold down Alt. Pull. What happened? Undo. Don't forget to use the undo. The one kind of scary thing in forms, your undo is your only way out of stuff. Unlike in modeling where you could use your timeline, if you look down at my timeline, see how nothing's changing down there? Forms does not keep track of your stuff that you've done. So once it's done and like done a long time ago, it's done. Okay. So there's my kind of ugly squid. Okay. Other features, you've got your legs. Most folks want to add a snout of some kind. I can't find my front anymore. Here's my front. So your snout goes here. Okay, so you might, to add a snout, you hit Alt and pull out a little bit to get your snout. I don't know why it's making my snout funny. Okay. And then most folks add the top of the head. Click there and Alt and pull that up so you've got, a nice forehead area, right? Just get your snout and your forehead. For For my squid, I need some features on the side of his head, like ears. You might need ears too. You can use that subdivide. So you can use modify, subdivide. You can specify how many faces you want. So I want 3 faces wide and I only want 1 face long because I want it like that. Okay. And then I'm going to use that to make his like weird things on the side of the squid's head. And actually, I'm gonna make them long. So I'm gonna subdivide this one too. Modify, subdivide. Same thing. I want 1 length face and 3 width face. Whoops. No. 1 width face and 3 length faces. There we go. Okay. So you can hit Control and click 2 things at once, right? So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to say Edit Form. And grabbing that and Alt. I'm going to pull that out to make his weird little ear thingies and make it skinny. Okay. All right, I have made the world's ugliest squid. It doesn't even really look like a squid, but we'll go with it. Okay, when you are completely happy with how your creature looked, you hit Finish Form and you cross your fingers. And if everything goes right, you don't get what I just got, which is an error. So I got an error. It says it failed to convert. Edges or faces may be crossing. So I hit Return. And I look for red. Luckily, there's not much red. I got a little bit. Only that one little area. Okay. So it says there's an error right here. One thing you can try is you can say repair. You can say, hey, I want to repair my guy. And I want to auto repair him. Okay. And sometimes that works. You then can go over to body here and click on this little yellow box and say check. And it's like, no, that didn't work. Okay. So it says review it in box mode. Remember I said check that every once in a while. So I can click over to box mode and I can see, yeah, that's like not a thing there for some reason. This is not okay. All right. So go back to smooth display. Something is happening here. It like overlapped itself weirdly. Okay. So I say, okay. And I can say edit form. And I can try to grab the offending area. And I can try to fix it just by hand. And I'm gonna just pull down because I think that's all it needs. And then I'm gonna say check conversion. Errors removed, convert. Yes. All right, so that took me out of the forms environment. I have made it. Okay. So now I have my squid. The next step is to give him some eyes. You can give him eyes either by making some spheres, or you can do a sketch. You can create sketch, and I could, you know, make a sketch right here, right? And then I could come over here and make another sketch for my eyes. Those are pretty bad eyes, but we'll go with it. Finish sketch. Okay. And then I could use E for extrude. Boop. Come on. They're inside. I can't click on that. I can hide my body. Get it? Okay, there we go. And then extrude them through and choose cut. Okay, there, I cut out the eyes. Those are so bad. Okay, it's okay. This one doesn't need to be pretty. You can look at some other examples for the pretty ones. Here we go. Okay, then I'm going to change appearance. So first, apply appearance for your whole body to the body's components. So choose whatever you want to have as your main body appearance. I'm going to go down here to paint. I'm going to choose metal flake paint because it's pretty. And I'm going to choose like metal flake blue. And I'm going to put it on my whole squid. Okay. And remember that you can right click edit if you want to like change the color a little bit. Okay. Then click faces and you can add highlight colors and detail colors. So like maybe I want metal flake silver on just the squid's little ear flap thingies. Okay. And so you can continue adding like detail colors. I don't know why it doesn't want to go on that spot, but it doesn't. Okay. So, and any one of the segments is available usually for being colored, but you want to make sure you start with whatever your base color is on body's components, because you really don't want to have to like do each individual spot. Okay, whatever. Once you have your whole design painted and made pretty, you've got all your details put in, and it looks better than mine because this one, just frankly, let's be honest, Ms.Phippard, you made a bad squid. Then you are going to render it. So head over to render. He looks much better once he's rendered, right? And you are going to set up your scene. If you've got an environment that works for your creature, go ahead and go with it. Squiddy here is going to go in a dry lake bed. Click settings, and I'm going to tell it to go to environment. I'm going to move him and move him whoop, up a little. Gonna rotate him. He's going to be floating in a dry lake bed. I don't know. Do squids float somewhere? I mean, they do in the water. Maybe they also float in Minecraft. I like that because it's got the weird shadow beneath it. All right. And then once I've got my scene how I want it, render. This is my weird, strange elephant squid. Gonna render it. Once you have rendered it, you are going to save your image. Oh, he's so sparkly. Okay, save your image. Once it gets over here to excellent, and then that is what you're going to go and turn into me. Okay, is your beautiful image of your beautiful critter. If we had our printers, we would be printing these guys, and they would be cute little lights. But you know, so click this, save. You would say, okay, and then you would save it as a PNG or a JPEG on your computer. Click Save. Okay. There, isn't he sparkly? All right, so that is it. That is how to create your sculpture of a critter. Good luck.